Imagine a world where freedom of speech didn't exist, or being able to express your thoughts didn't exist. Unfortunately, this isn't a distant reality today. There have been growing concerns towards censorship and how it can affect us as a society. My topic for this persuasive speech is how these laws not only hinder growth in society, but how they suppress diverse voices in politics, art, and education. These laws can silence individuals in their right to speak freely. When we think of censorship, one of the biggest worlds for it is politics. Censorship can cause many people to have weaker choices and uninformed choices in what politicians they follow or believe in. In many countries, freedom of speech is one of the most valuable rights. In an article called Freedom of Expression by Amnesty International, their main key fact is freedom of expression is protected by Article 19 of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. With this right being protected, society knows that we have the ability to exercise these rights by agreeing or disagreeing with politicians. And one of the easiest and biggest ways to agree or disagree with politicians is through social media. But should social media platforms be able to prevent politicians from using their platforms? The American Civil Liberties Union stated that they expressed concern back in January of 2021 because many platforms no longer wanted to have Donald Trump on their platforms. This caused Florida to enact laws that prohibited platforms from censoring out any political candidates. Now, although these laws have been challenged in recent years, they still play a big part in how many politicians and platforms can collide with censorship. Although I do not agree with censoring politicians, and I don't always agree with politicians say on their platforms, I believe they have the right to use these platforms for what they were intended for. Now, just as political voices have been impacted by censorship, so has art. Not only does censorship affect creators, but it also affects people and their freedom of expression through their art. In many cultures, art is one of the biggest ways people use their freedom of expression. Art is a very powerful way for people to show what they believe in or show their morals. But today, many artists are scared to post their art in fear of having backlash against the status quo of today's society. The National Art Education Association says the arts cannot thrive in such a climate of fear. Now, while we know freedom is a very crucial part of art, we also know there are arguments against and for censorship. One that is for censorship says that works that cause harm should be censored. The American Bar Association points out the debate, should hate speech cause free speech, to lose its constitution protection. Now, many advocates for censorship in art believe that the censorship can establish a guideline that can help more art become positive and not create hostile environments for communities. Art is a very critical platform for expression, and censorship could limit artists' voices. And just as censorship can shape what society sees through art, it can also extend to classrooms and what teachers are allowed to teach their students. Education is very important for young people to learn and hear out voices, which is why we learn history from all over the world in our classrooms. But many states across the country are willing to stop talking about certain topics because they are too diverse. In 2023, many classrooms had laws thrown on them that were against having gender and race discussion. Now, calling back to the American Civil Liberties Union, they said that they challenged classroom censorship laws in Florida, New Hampshire, and Oklahoma. These censorship laws could really alter what teachers are teaching in their classrooms. Even though the teachers might not agree with these laws, they still have to conform to them. Now, one of the main arguments for censorship in classrooms is parents want to have a say in what their students learn. Many topics might not align with those families' morals or their religion that they follow. The American Library Association says, by censoring certain books or materials, students are denied the opportunity to explore different perspectives and develop independent thinking. Education and even going to school is a way for young people to learn the perspectives of different voices and to make their own opinions, which can help them grow into young, intelligent adults. In conclusion, censorship laws threat our freedom of expression. These laws prevent citizens holding leaders accountable through politics, and it also restricts creative freedom in art and prevents diverse perspectives. In education, it withholds the exchange of ideas and hindering students' critical thinking and understanding of the world. Allowing censorship to flourish, and that leads to a future where our ideas are controlled. I urge you to recognize the impact of censorship, and together we can stand against the unjust restrictions and ensure everybody has their own voice.